This is Catholic Challenge Live on the Living Bread Radio Network. Teams will test their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Join us on this journey as we navigate our way from BC to AD and everything in between. Today's defenders of the faith will take up their shield and sword to compete for prize money for their organization. Are you ready for the challenge? And now here's your host, Michael Roberts.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Challenge Live. Today we are live from our studios here in Canton, and we've got two teams that will compete and test their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Both teams today are homeschool students. They are members of a local homeschool co-op, and so they are playing for their favorite charities here today. We'll talk more about that coming up, but the good news is all of the prize money earned today will go directly to those fantastic charities. Before we begin our game, though, we want to find out how to play Catholic Challenge, and so I want to introduce Maria Johnson. She will come up and she will tell us how to play. Maria?
In round one, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 10 points each. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, you'll be given a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, Maria, thank you very much. So our teams today, we've got 2 teams. The first team, Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. They are playing for Little Flower, Tanzania. And we've got Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson. They are playing for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. So teams, hello, welcome. Nice to have you with us. Let's play Catholic Challenge, all right? We'll begin with round number 1, and we'll begin with the gold team, Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. Here we go, guys. Round number 1 starts right now. Here's question number 1. For what purpose is a nuptial mass celebrated? A funeral, a baptism, or a wedding?
A wedding.
That is correct. Question number 2. The first 2 sons of Adam and Eve were Cain and Abel. How did Abel make his livelihood? As a blacksmith, as a shepherd, or as a hunter?
A shepherd.
Absolutely right. Question number 3. True or false? During ordinary time, purple vestments are worn by the priest when celebrating Holy Mass. True or false?
False.
It is false. Green vestments are worn during ordinary time. Purple is, of course, a color of penance and is reserved for Lent and Advent. Question number 4. We celebrate his feast day on February 14th. He is the patron saint of love and happy marriages. Who is this well-known saint? St. Valentine, St. Nicholas, or St. Augustine?
St. Valentine.
That's it. Question number 5, from Mark chapter 14, verse 26. After the Last Supper, where did Jesus and his apostles go? To the Mount of Olives, to the temple, or to Peter's house?
Mount of Olives.
You got it. Absolutely right. All right, guys. You got all 5 of those right. Let's move on now to the bonus question. It's worth 25 points. Here we go. This is a circular or general letter expressing the mind of the Pope, generally on matters of faith and morals. It may be a letter to the entire church or an epistle to a particular church or people. What is this called? A testament, an encyclical, or a gospel?
Encyclical.
That is it, and that is a round 1 sweep. So congratulations, Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. You now have 75 points. Let's move over now to the blue team. We've got Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson. They are playing for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. So guys, here we go. Round 1 starts right now. Here's question number 1. True or false? When Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, the waters of the Red Sea were dried up by a strong east wind during the night. True or false?
True.
It is true. We read about it in Exodus. Question number 2. This saint was privileged to have received apparitions of our Blessed Mother in Lourdes, France. Her feast day is celebrated on April 16th. Her body remains mostly incorrupt. Is this St. Joan of Arc, St. Mary Magdalene, or St. Bernadette?
Bernadette?
You got it, St. Bernadette. Question number 3. Between the first and second readings at Sunday Mass, we read from a specific book of Scripture, typically in a responsorial fashion. From which book of the Bible do we read or sing at this time? Proverbs, Psalms, or Wisdom?
Psalms.
That is correct. Here's question number 4. When did Jesus say to his disciples, "Why are you terrified, O you of little faith"? When did Jesus say that? At the Last Supper, at the wedding at Cana, or at the calming of the sea?
The Last Supper.
No, the correct answer there is calming of the sea from Matthew chapter 8, verse 26. He said, "Why are you terrified, O you of little faith?" Because they were afraid that the boat was going to sink, right? They were afraid with the storm. Here's question number 5. This festival is the celebration of the night God's angel of death passed over the houses of the Israelites, whose doors were marked with the blood of the Lamb. Are we talking about Passover, Candlemas, or the Exodus?
Passover.
That is correct. All right, guys, at the end of round number 1, you have 40 points. Little Flower Tanzania, you guys are in the lead with 75 points. It's time for our first break of the game. When we come back, we will introduce you to our contestants. Stay with us. You are listening to Catholic Challenge Live right here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Since 1919, the Ziegler family has served the community with trusted auto service and name brand products. 20 locations, 97 years, serving others. Ziegler Tire is a proud sponsor of Catholic Challenge. Find out more at ZieglerTire.com.
For over 25 years, St Raphael Bookstore has been your source for all things Catholic. We offer resources to help you learn and defend the faith. St Raphael Bookstore, a sponsor of Catholic Challenge, online at catholicbook.net.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge Live here on the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Michael Roberts, and we are live today from our studios in Canton, Ohio. And we've got a great group of students that are here from a local homeschool co-op, and they are playing for their favorite charities today. And we're going to take a moment now and introduce you to our contestants. We'll begin with the gold team playing for Little Flower Tanzania, Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. Joseph, I'll start with you. You are big into 4-H, and I see here you raise a lot of different animals. Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, I raise bees, goats, turkeys, and chickens for the fair.
Have you been doing that ever since you were a kid, I imagine?
For about 5 years now.
Yeah, great. You probably really enjoy that. I know a lot of people that are in 4-H that it's just really one of the best things that they can do with their lives, and they enjoy it the most. So that's awesome. You're a member of Little Flower Parish in Canton, right? Mm-hmm. All right. The other thing I notice here, too, your favorite subject in school is science. Why is that?
I just like stuff that has to do with like outdoor and
It kind of makes sense if you're big into 4-H and with the animals and stuff. It kind of makes sense that you would like science as well. All right, Joseph, thanks again for being here, and good luck to you. Your partner is Jacob Shanahan, and Jacob, you are really a big violin player, I'm told. You've been playing since you were 4 years old. I'm really jealous because I don't play an instrument. I really would love to play an instrument, but I don't. But a little birdie tells me here, Jacob, that you have played with the national anthem for the Cleveland Indians with a group many times. Tell us about that. I'm a big Indians fan.
Yeah, I've played 4 times at an Indians games. I've played once at a Cleveland Monsters game, and I've also played at a Cavs game.
Cool. So that being said, do you think you want to go into music once you get a little bit older?
I don't know. I like basically computer stuff. I love taking things apart, and I have a collection of computers I've taken apart.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like the sky is the limit for you. And on top of all of that, your favorite subject in school is history. So you kind of have a broad range here of different interests. So that's really cool. I love the idea of playing for the national anthem. Is it hard to play the national anthem? It's a hard song to sing, but is it a hard song to play?
Once you get a hang of it, it's not that hard.
Very good. I like to hear that. By the way, you guys are playing for Little Flower Tanzania. Jacob, what is Little Flower Tanzania? Explain to us what you're playing for today.
So we belong to Little Flower in Canton, and basically it's a sister parish in Africa. So we helped a few years ago raise money to build a church there, and they've sent a lot of their seminarians up here to study and priests. So they help with mass and stuff up here. So
That's
it's pretty
great.
neat.
So you guys are doing a good thing helping your sister parish over there in Tanzania. All right, Jacob, Joseph, thanks again for being with us and playing Catholic Challenge. Let's move over to the other side here. We've got Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, Elena, but I imagine that's your brother sitting next to you?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, with the same last name, I kind of figured I'd be safe by saying that. So we've got a sister-brother duo here. Elena, tell us a little bit about yourself. You love being outside, and you love horses, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What grade are you in?
6th. I've been a year ahead forever.
Yeah, well, now, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That'll come in handy someday. So what other things do you like to do when you're outside playing around?
I really enjoy riding my bike.
Yeah, I do too. I love it, especially when the weather's really nice and summertime. You can't beat it. What other things do you like? Like, what's your favorite subject in school?
Science.
Science? Why is that? Anything in particular?
I don't really like history and I don't really like math, so it's kind of a process of elimination.
Well, there you go. Hey, I'm with you because I never liked math. History was okay, but I wasn't always the best at science either, so I give you credit for that. No doubt about that. All right, so let's talk to your brother now, Patrick Johnson. Patrick, what grade are you in?
I think it's 7th.
Something like that. All right. Well, here's a more important question. How well do you get along with your sister?
Really well.
I thought you would say that. All right, very good. You are a member at St. Sebastian Parish. I forgot to mention that as well when we were talking to your sister. So tell us what you like to do in your spare time.
I like playing strategy board games and reading books.
All right, that's really good. I see here your favorite sport is archery. I don't hear that very often. Why is that? Why do you like archery?
Well, we recently did archery, and I don't really play any organized sport.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. When I think about archery, I've tried archery before, and I can't even get past trying to get the thing on the bow to shoot. I mean, I can't even do that right. Was it hard for you to get the hang of it, or was it pretty easy for you?
It was fairly easy.
Well, good. So maybe you can give me some lessons sometime. I'll call you up and you can give me some lessons. And I can't seem to get that bullseye in the very center either. It's very hard to hit that. Oh, well, we could go on and on and on. But Patrick and Elena, thank you so much. You guys are playing, by the way, for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. A lot of our listeners probably know it as Community Pregnancy Center. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would, Patrick, and why you guys are playing for that today.
Mom explained about it, and it sounds really nice. It sounds like a really good organization.
It is a good organization. We know it very well. We've got a good partnership with them, and they do a lot of things for women in particular, new mothers, and really helping give hope to mothers who need the help. So you guys are right. You picked a very worthwhile organization to play for, and they do a lot of things now, especially with ultrasound and different things. So it's definitely a worthwhile organization. All right, Patrick, Elena, thank you very much. Nice job. Let's move on now to our next round of play, round number 2. But before we do, we want to hear the rules. So once again, Maria Johnson will come up. By the way, that's Elena and Patrick's mother, right? No pressure. Don't worry about it. It's Elena and Patrick's mother, Maria. She will come up and tell us the rules.
In round 2, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 15 points each. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, you'll be given a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Let's move on now to round number 2. We'll begin with Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan playing for Little Flower, Tanzania. Here we go, guys. Round 2 starts right now. Question number 1. This feast day is celebrated 9 months before the birthday of our Lord on Christmas. It commemorates the visit of the angel Gabriel to our Blessed Mother. What are we talking about? Immaculate Conception, Epiphany, or the Annunciation?
Annunciation.
March 25th, we celebrate the Annunciation. Question number 2, true or false? The Israelites' departure from Egypt was so hurried that they had no time to prepare food for their journey. True or false?
True.
It is true. Question number 3, the season of Advent is celebrated in preparation for which great solemnity? Easter, Christmas, or Thanksgiving?
Christmas.
You got it, Christmas. Here's question number 4. We meditate on the joyful, sorrowful, luminous, and glorious mysteries for this special Marian prayer. At every approved apparition around the world, our Blessed Mother has asked us to pray this prayer. Is it the Rosary, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, or the Magnificat?
The Rosary.
The Rosary, you got it. Here's question number 5. The 2 most recent popes were Francis and Benedict. Who was the Holy Father prior to Pope Benedict XVI? Was it Pope Paul VI, Pope Pius X, or Pope John Paul II?
Pope John Paul II.
Yeah, and he is now Saint Pope John Paul II. All right, guys, you got all 5 of those right. Let's move on now to the bonus question. It's worth 25 points. I am the Lord your God. You shall worship the Lord your God, and him alone shall you serve. Which of the 10 commandments is this one? Is it the first, the fourth, or the 10th?
First.
Number 1, absolutely. And that is a round 2 sweep. So congratulations to Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. You now have 175 points. Let's move over now to the sister-brother duo playing for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. They are Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson. Here we go, guys. Round number 2 starts for you right now. Question number 1, it's true or false. The Pentateuch is best described as a collection of legal ordinances. True or false?
True?
No, the Pentateuch is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Penta, 5. That's the best way to describe it. Here's question number 2. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph fled to Egypt to escape persecution from whom? The neighbors, terrorists, or King Herod?
King Herod.
Yeah, you got it. King Herod. Question number 3. The Beatitudes are found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, and also in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. The 5th Beatitude says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall" what? Get rich, live forever, or obtain mercy?
Obtain mercy.
You got it. Question number 4. On which day of creation did God create the earth? The first, the third, or the 7th? What day of creation was that?
First.
No, in Genesis chapter 1, we read that God created light and darkness, and then the sky, then the earth on the 3rd day. It was the 3rd day. All right, here's question number 5. How long after Easter Sunday does the Feast of Pentecost occur? 1 week, 1 month, or 50 days?
1 week?
No, 50 days is the correct answer there. 50 days after Easter, we celebrate Pentecost, the birthday of the church. All right, guys, no worries. You have 70 points. You're still very much in the game. Little Flower, Tanzania, though, you guys are in the lead with 175 points. We're almost ready now to move into our 3rd round of play, but before we do, we want to take a moment and thank our generous sponsors. The sponsors have provided all the prize monies for our program here today. So we give special thanks to Ziegler Tire and St. Raphael Books and Gifts. These great sponsors continue to partner with us to help all of you learn more about the Catholic faith. So thank you once again to our sponsors. All right, let's welcome once again Maria Johnson up. She will tell you guys all about round number 3.
In round 3, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 20 points each. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, you will be given a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, thank you very much. Here we go, guys. We'll move into round number 3. We'll begin with the gold team, Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan, playing for Little Flower, Tanzania. Round number 3 will begin for you guys right now. Here we go. Question number 1. This saint is typically pictured carrying the child Jesus on his shoulder. He is considered the patron saint of travelers. His feast day is celebrated on July 25th. Is it St. Christopher, St. Anthony, or St. Columba?
St. Christopher.
You got it, St. Christopher. Here's question number 2 from Genesis chapter 24. One day toward evening, Isaac went out to walk in the field and caught sight of camels approaching. His future wife was riding on one of those camels. Who was she? Sarah, Rebecca, or Miriam?
Sarah.
No, the correct answer there, Rebecca. Rebecca was the one on one of those camels. All right, question number 3. The man and women who sponsor a person being baptized are commonly known as what? Friends, godparents, or benefactors?
Godparents.
That is correct. Question number 4, true or false? Jesus changed Simon's name to Peter to indicate that he was a fisherman. True or false?
False.
Yeah, it is false. Petros, rock, the rock that, of course, the church will be built on. All right, here's question number 5. Where do we typically find the letters I-N-R-I? On a crucifix, on a statue of Mary, or in a choir loft?
On a crucifix.
Yeah, and of course, those initials translate to English as Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. All right, there you go, guys. At the end of round number 3, you have 255 points. We move over now to Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson. They are playing for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. They've got 70 points right now. They hope to add to that. Here we go, guys. Round number 3 starts right now. Question number 1. When he was 14, he was captured by Irish pirates during a raiding party and then taken to Ireland as a slave. He is the patron saint of Ireland, and his feast day is celebrated on March 17th. Is it St. Columba, St. Patrick, or St. Michael?
St. Patrick.
You got it, St. Patrick. Here's question number 2. While in the desert, on which day of the week were the Israelites allowed to gather twice as much manna as they gathered on the other days? Was it the first day, the third day, or the 6th day?
The 6th day.
You got it. On the 6th day, let it be twice as much as they gather on the other days. Question number 3. There are 2 days during Lent on which we are required to fast and to abstain from meat. Good Friday is one day, but what is the other day? Is it Ash Wednesday, Holy Thursday, or Holy Saturday?
Ash Wednesday.
You got it. The beginning of Lent, the very first day of Lent, Ash Wednesday. Question number 4. What was the penalty for working on the Sabbath during Moses' time? Was it death, exile, or imprisonment?
Imprisonment.
No, it was death. That was the penalty for working on the Sabbath. All right, guys, here's question number 5. It's true or false. According to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus healed the centurion's servant without going to the centurion's home. True or false?
True.
It is true. Absolutely right. From Matthew chapter 8, verse 8. All right, guys, at the end of round number 3, you have 150 points. Little Flower Tanzania in the lead with 255 points. So still a very close game. Coming up, we've got our challenge round. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But before we take our next break, we always like to give a question to you, our listening audience. And so we mentioned earlier about godparents in the Catholic Church. What is the role of godparents? We'll talk about that coming up after our break. You are listening to Catholic Challenge Live right here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
The Living Bread Radio app is perfect for those times when you are away from the listening area. Just search Living Bread Radio at Google Play or the iTunes Store. It's totally free and has lots of great features. Proclaiming the truth with the Living Bread Radio app.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge Live here on the Living Bread Radio Network. Once again, we're live at our studios here in Canton. We've got a great group of students that are homeschooled from a homeschool co-op, and it's really nice to have them here today. They're playing for their favorite charities, and so it is a great game so far. But before we left you, our listening audience, we had a question for you. What is the role of godparents in the Catholic Church? The godparent should be present to be added spiritually to the immediate family of the one to be baptized and to represent Mother Church. As occasion offers, he or she will be ready to help the parents bring up their child to profess the faith and to show this by living it. All right, we do have a great game going here, and it's a very close game. We've got Little Flower Tanzania, Joseph Dewar, and Jacob Shanahan. They are in the lead with 255 points, but right behind them, Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson playing for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. They have 150 points. It's time now for the challenge round. Once again, here's Maria Johnson with the rules.
Our challenge round combines knowledge and speed. The first team to ring in may answer the question. If the answer is incorrect, no points are lost, but the other team will have the opportunity to hear the question in its entirety. Correct answers are worth 30 points each, and in case of a tie at the end of this round, we will have a tiebreaker question. The team with the most points at the end of this round will be awarded $200, and the losing team will be awarded $50.
All right, guys, here we go. Hands on your buzzers. The challenge round starts right now. Question number 1. The first book of the Old Testament is what? Embrace Clinic.
Genesis.
You got it. Absolutely right. Question number 2. In the Old Testament book of Genesis, God created woman from what type of bone from Adam?
Rib.
Little flower.
Rib.
You got it. That is it. Here's question number 3. What are the 46 books of the Bible that record the history of salvation from creation through the story of ancient Israel? Little flower, Tanzania.
Old Testament.
You got it, or Hebrew scriptures. Question number 4. What term do we apply to the 3 divine persons in one God? Little flower.
Trinity.
Yes, the Holy Trinity. Question number 5. What was the biblical event in which the angel Gabriel visited the Embrace Clinic?
Annunciation.
Ah, very good. You were paying attention earlier. All right, and with that, Little Flower Tanzania, you guys are in the lead with 345 points, but Embrace Clinic and Care Center, you are right behind there with 210. All right, that sound means we're running short on time, so this will be the last question of the game. Here we go, guys. Jesus taught his disciples by telling short stories. Little Flower Tanzania.
Parables.
These stories are called parables. All right. And that is the game. So congratulations to Joseph Dewar and Jacob Shanahan. You have won a total of $200 for Little Flower Tanzania. The final score, 375. Our congratulations also go to Elena Johnson and Patrick Johnson from Embrace Clinic and Care Center with a score of 210. You guys will also win $50 for Embrace Clinic and Care Center. It was definitely a job well done. So together, you guys have earned a total of $250 for your charities here today. Special thanks also to our sponsors, Ziegler Tire and St Raphael Books and Gifts, whose generous support provides our prize money. I'm Michael Roberts, and until next time, do your part and defend the faith. We'll see you next week for another edition of Catholic Challenge right here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
You've been listening to Catholic Challenge Live, a production of the Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio. If you'd like to be a part of the program, email quiz@livingbreadradio.com. For a podcast of this show where you can listen on demand, go to livingbreadradio.com and join us next time for another edition of Catholic Challenge Live.